I invite you to turn in then to the Psalms and the division of the Psalms number 31. And how many are looking forward to Monday and Tuesday? How many will Monday and Tuesday be your favorite days this next week? Yes, so you can make Monday your favorite day. Great, sleep in, study. Hopefully you will study, right? That's the intent. And some of you will wake up Wednesday saying, I wish I would have. So please be wise, right? Nobody said amen but Miss V. You know, I'm glad Miss V comes to chapel. Because as a speaker, it's nice to have at least one person say amen. Some of you ministerial guys need to listen to what Dr. Brown tells you. Be not deceived, God's not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And so when you get up and everybody sleeps while you're preaching and no one says amen and they yawn or they're on Facebook, just know that you are getting your due recompense. Amen? Yeah. Yes. I may have a little jest in my voice when I say that, but that's the Bible. And you ought to practice saying amen now, not because I'm preaching. I preach one day a week, but others preach and they do a great job. And so get ready, all right? And you do good to follow that. Psalm 31, in you, O Lord, do I take refuge. Let me never be put to shame. In your righteousness, deliver me. Incline your ear to me, rescue me speedily. Be a rock of refuge for me, a strong fortress to save me. For you are my rock and my fortress. And for your name's sake, you lead me and guide me. You have taken me out of the net they have hidden for me. You are my refuge. Into your hands I commit my spirit. You have redeemed me, O Lord, faithful God. How many here today have ever flown? Raise your hand if you have flown. If I were to have asked that question 20 or 25 years ago, I think the exact opposite percentage would have been present. It was something that only a few had done, and only a few had been doing it on a regular basis. I was 19 before I flew for my first time. I flew from here in Cincinnati to South Florida to be in my roommate's wedding. When I was in the dorm, he was much older than me. I think he was 28 or so, and found the quote-unquote love of his life down in Florida. They got married, and I remember flying into West Palm Beach. I declared I never wanted to live there after climbing off the airplane in June, and it felt like a wet blanket. But God had other plans and put me down there for nearly 10 years. But I was 19 before I flew for the first time. Now, I have flown literally around the world. I have been to numerous countries. I've been in all parts of the world at this point. Now, initially when I started flying, I enjoyed the process. There was something about going through the security line, something about walking to the gate, something about sitting there, and excitement built as you wait for them to say that the seating process has begun. And I always selected the window seat. I wanted to see outside. I wanted to see what was happening. Maybe it was because I didn't trust the pilot, but like I could do anything sitting at the window. But I just wanted to see if we were going to crash. I want to know how close it's going to be. You know, is it going to be 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or will I even know? I wanted to be by the window. Somewhere along the way, though, it's become routine at best. I have it down to a science. I have bags that remain packed at home. I don't even have to worry about some items. They're already in the suitcase, and And I can walk into the Cincinnati airport. I know exactly how long I need from the time someone drops me off to the time that I get to my gate. I don't check bags. I walk with my prearranged things right to the gate, and hopefully they're boarding by the time I get there. I don't want a window seat any longer. I want the aisle so I can stretch out my legs and don't have to worry about that big guy sitting beside me and forcing me over against the fuselage of the airplane. I've been there enough. I don't care to do it again. But one of the things that I still enjoy about flying sets me apart from probably most of you here today, and that is I absolutely love turbulence. I look forward to it. And I'm not sure I can say that I pray for it, but it is something that when I sit down in my seat, I think, well, I hope today that we run into turbulence along the way. I do about every time that I fly. There's something exciting about it to me. A couple of months ago, I was flying from Chicago to Kansas City, and just about the time that we reached 10,000 feet is where you hear the ding and the stewardess get up and start doing their thing. And about 10,000 feet, maybe just beyond, because the stewardess were walking down the aisle, we hit a pocket of turbulence that was absolutely amazing. It was delightful. The plane started bouncing, and people started screaming, and the stewardess raced back to their seats, and I watched as they hurriedly put their harness back on, and there was shock and dismay on their faces. In fact, after a little while it ended, and it was wonderful. It ended, and the stewardess made her way back down the center aisle of the airplane, and a fella just a few seats from me asked her, do we have that kind of thing happen often? And the lady, her face was a little ashen. Remember, she's the stewardess. And she said, I don't know, this is my first flight. And I wanted to speak up and say it doesn't happen enough. The worst, or perhaps I should say the best turbulence I've ever been in was flying from Honolulu, Hawaii to Guam. Over the middle of the Pacific. It was a nighttime flight. Didn't matter whether you were by the window, you couldn't see anything. And we hit some turbulence that lasted for nearly 30 minutes. Oh, it was spectacular. The stewardess cart was banging around. Drinks were flying. People were screaming and holding hands, and some of them were hugging each other. They thought the end was near, and I was enjoying it. This is great. It's like being at a rodeo or being at Kings Island without having to pay the entrance fee. This is wonderful stuff. I love turbulence. I recently read of a flight that experienced something that I really don't want to be a part of, though. 20 minutes into a flight from New York to San Antonio, calm gave way to chaos. One of the plane's engines failed so badly that debris from the engine smashed through a window in the fuselage, causing the cabin to decompress. Several passengers were injured from the shrapnel from the engine, and one person was sucked out and killed. The headlines of that newspaper article were succinct but on point. It read, "In amazing hands." As you continue to read the newspaper article, you would read that the pilot was a former Navy fighter pilot, accustomed to landing aircraft on aircraft carriers. He had been in combat. He was a seasoned fighter pilot. And as a result of his extensive training, he was able to take this crippled aircraft and land it there on the runway safely in amazing hands. This last month, we've spent a great deal of time hearing sermons about being available to God. We've heard how that we ought to consecrate ourselves to Him, to cast ourselves on Him, that you can trust God with your lives. You have heard sermons of what it's like to continually put yourself in a position to be available to God. And this morning, I simply want to remind you that when you do that, when you place yourself in God's hands, you are in amazing hands. That's what the psalmist was saying here in Psalm 31. And, oh Lord, in you I take refuge. In you I find a fortress. In you I find someone who leads me, someone who guides me. And as a result of these things, I am willing. I want to commend my spirit. I want to commend my life to your care. Why? Because based upon what we know about God and His Word, based on the experiences of God's saints, I can stand here today and say, friends, you're in amazing hands. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. Oh, there may be turbulence along the way. There will be, in fact. But you're in amazing hands. Let's stand together.
We're glad you joined us. God's Bible School and College prepares students for lives of ministry wherever God calls them. This content is possible because of the generous support of friends like you. To support GBSC, visit giving.gbs.edu. Thank you.